Hello, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to work out on how to derive the derivative of natural log functions. So before we start to work on these derivatives, there are a couple of things we need to know. First, the derivative of e to the x. So d over dx of e to the x equals e to the x. Okay, it's just a little review. We have done that already. And another property of the log is that if we have a raised to the log of some number b with base a equals b. This is a very important property that we have to know when we actually solve for the derivative of natural log functions. And another thing we need to know is that the log with base e, this is a natural log base, is equal to ln. Okay, so if we raise this e to the ln of some number b is going to be just b. So this property is very important when we actually derive the derivative of this natural log of x. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have y equals ln of x. Okay, and now we're going to exponentiate the y. So we're going to turn this natural log function into the exponential function. So it's going to become e to the y equals e to the ln of x. Now we can apply this property right here. E to the ln of b is equal to b. So e to the ln of x is just going to be x. So we have e to the y equals just x. Okay, now we can go ahead and take the derivative on both sides. D over dx of e to the y equals d over dx of x. Okay, now we have this right here, and we can take the derivative from here. Here we're going to use the derivative of e to the x. Basically the knowledge that we have, so e to the x is just e to the x, but this one is e to the y. So this one is going to have another term, which is dy over dx. We have to take the derivative of this y as well, along with e to the y. So the derivative of this portion right here, e to the y, is going to be e to the y times dy over dx. Okay, so derivative of e to the y is just e to the y. Then the derivative of this y is going to be dy dx, and on the right hand side, derivative of x is just 1. And from here we can divide both sides by e to the y, so we get dy over dx equals 1 over e to the y. Okay, and then we can go ahead and make a substitution for e to the y into the equation. E to the y we already know is equal to x. So this is our final answer. Let's do the derivative of natural log of 5x. So we know that y equals ln of 5x. Okay, and we know that the derivative of e to the x equals e to the x. And another property is that e to the ln of some number equals just that number itself. So now the first step I'm going to do, turn this natural log function into the exponential function. So it's going to be e to the y equals e to the ln of 5x. Okay, so we get e to the y equals this e and ln, they're inverse of each other, so it's just equal to 5x. Okay, now we take the derivative on both sides. D over dx of e to the y equals d over dx of 5x. Okay, now we can take the derivative. So derivative of e to the y is just e to the y times the derivative of this y is going to be dy over dx. Okay, so basically we're applying the chain rule. So e to the u, derivative of e to the u is e to the u times du over dx. and u is a y, so e to the y times dy dx equals derivative on the right hand side 5x is just going to be 5 times derivative of x, which is 5 times d over dx of x. Okay, now we get e to the y times dy over dx equals just 5 times 1 is 5, and then we can go ahead and divide both sides by e to the y, so we get dy over dx equals 5 over e to the y, and then we make a substitution here for what is e to the y, dy over dx. We already solved for e to the y equals 5x, so it's going to become 5 over 5x, and that is equal to just 1 over x. That's our final answer for this problem. Now let's do one more example. Here we have natural log of x squared. So y equals ln of x squared. So first step, I'm going to turn this natural log function into the exponential function. So we get e to the y equals to e to the ln of x squared, and that is equal to e to the y equals just x squared. Now we take the derivative on both sides, d over dx of e to the y equals d over dx of x squared. Now the derivative of e to the y is just e to the y times dy over dx. So it's a chain rule. We're taking the derivative of e to the u, so it's going to be e to the u times du over dx. And same thing here, e to the y is going to be e to the y times dy over dx equals, and the derivative of x squared is going to be 2x. Now we have, we're going to divide both sides by e to the y, so we get dy over dx equals 2x over e to the y. And now we're going to go ahead and substitute the value of e to the y is x squared, and we get, now we can simplify this x, cancel this x, one of the x's in the denominator, so you're left with 2 over x. So this is the answer, the derivative of natural log of x squared. So hopefully this helps. Just practice with a couple of problems and watch this video. It will really help. If you like my video, just go ahead and subscribe my channel. Thank you.